Right, good morning all and welcome to another episode of the Risking It All podcast. Today we are delighted to be joined by Andrew, who is the founder and managing director of Tailored Digital Systems. Firstly, thanks for being here, Andrew.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Andrew.
So, as we like to do with all our guests, Andrew, we'll get into the nuts and bolts, your business and what it is that you do in good time. But take us back to where it started for young Andrew. Where are you from? What was your childhood like? Just share as much as you're willing to share, mate.
Yeah, so I grew up in West Kilbride, down the west coast. So like 5,000 people, tiny wee town. I think there's like 2 pubs, a Chinese, an Indian, like a really small place. And went to school in Largs and then went up to uni in Glasgow and moved up here in like my 3rd year and was like, I can't stay in a small place again. It was an eye-opening experience, yeah.
West Kilbride, I mean, this won't come as a surprise to you, John. My geography is not my strong point.
Yeah.
I have no clue. I clearly know where East Kilbride is, but I didn't even know there was a West Kilbride.
No, that's what most people say. Most people try and correct me and say, do you not mean East Kilbride? And I'm like,
okay.
thanks, I forgot where I'm from, mate, when I grew up. I appreciate that. Yeah.
It's funny because we were talking last week. I'm off to Millport next after this for a video shoot, and we were talking about it last week, and Brian's gone, what is... Because he came up Isle of Cumbrae.
Yeah.
He went, is Millport an island?
Yeah.
Yes. How did you get there? Largs.
Yeah. So that was the childhood. Cycles around Millport and everything down there, yeah.
Nice area,
okay.
Yeah, no, it is lovely. I think going away and living away from it, you go back and appreciate it a lot more. I think the first time I went to like the Lake District and you come back and you're like, this is just what we've got on our back door, basically. Yeah.
And do you have brothers and sisters?
Yeah, I've got a big sister and a wee brother.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Are you the oldest, youngest?
No, I'm middle child.
Middle child, right.
So I'm off doing my own thing, obviously.
Aye. And what did your parents or guardians do for work? Were they in business or did they just have a regular 9-to-5 job?
No, they've got 9-to-5 jobs. So my dad works in the oil industry and then my mum's a physiotherapist.
Right, okay, cool. Is your dad an engineer?
No, he's in supply chain.
Okay. I was asking because before we started recording, you were telling me about your engineering, which we'll get on in a minute. So, in school, were you mischievous, or were you a bit of a brain box, or were you somewhere in between?
I'd say a mix of both. I was always into engineering, and I could apply myself and get good results, but I don't think I applied myself that often.
Right,
It was only until I absolutely needed to that I'd push. The rest of the time I kind of just wanted to have fun and do my own thing. Yeah.
Was your primary school quite small then?
Yeah, it was tiny because there was only one in West Kilbride, and then if you want to go to secondary, well, obviously you want to go to secondary school, but you need to go to one of the other towns, so there's not actually one in West Kilbride to go to.
Right, you need to go to the big bad town to go to high school. Right, okay.
Exactly.
What high school did you go to in then?
Largs Academy.
High school.
Yeah.
Right, okay. And is that big? Is that a big school, or is it
Yeah,
quite
I mean,
small?
it's got like, it's not big compared to anything around here, but it's got 3 or 4 towns that all go to that school. So you start getting a mix of different people coming in. Yeah, from different areas.
All right, cool. And after school, was there then college or university? Is that what brought you across this kind of central belt?
Yeah. So I applied for a few different unis, got into Glasgow Caledonian to do mechanical engineering, and that was a master's I done at that one. And again, it was first 3 years was all about having the uni experience and having fun, and then it was time to apply myself a bit more.
Right, aye.
Yeah.
I'm always kind of interested in people's choice to go to university. What made that choice, or was it kind of guidance from parents or teachers, or just that academical?
Yeah, I think so. Growing up, I used to call them constructions, right? And my gran would keep like cereal boxes and egg cartons, empty ones, in her house. I used to go over every like Tuesday, and I'd always like make stuff out of them. Like kind of like Art Attack, but make these like in my head, they're like wee robots and stuff like that. So it kind of felt like a natural progression. That was always something I was interested in, was how stuff works. I'd always take stuff apart. So I think the engineering kind of felt like a natural progression into that. So after uni, it was go in, see what courses are available, go to the open days. I didn't really think there was an alternative to going to uni at the time.
Right, okay.
I think looking back, it definitely gave me all the skills I needed and got me the corporate experience to then start my own business and work out what I wanted to do and how I wanted it to run. So I'm still glad I had that experience, but I think now there's so many more opportunities for alternative avenues to go down.
And was most of your friends the same trajectory, university? Or?
Yeah. Majority of people were going to different unis.
Right.
Yeah.
And God, your first test, right? I'm going to put you to the test here, and I am the ultimate guinea pig. So I am the polar opposite of an academic, you could say, right? And even the term mechanical engineering, I know loosely what an engineer is, right? But like for the absolute layman, what is mechanical engineering? What does that actually mean?
So it's all the physical components of making something. So it's all where the forces and constraints lie when you're building something like a car. So like the chassis and how the engine fits in and how the brakes all work, that's all the mechanical components. And then you've got like the electrical components, and then there was nuclear engineering as well. So it's like the physical aspects of it in its simplest terms, if that makes sense.
Right, okay, got you. Well done, you passed the test.
There we go, first one.
Okay, mate, cool. So you done your, was it 3 years at uni or 4 years at uni?
It was 5 for the masters,
5 years, right, okay, 5 years at uni. A lot of fun had then, in your uni years?
Yeah, first few years were good fun. As long as I passed and get into the next year, it was good fun. That first taste of like proper independence.
Is that the general pathway for folk at uni? I'm looking at John because I know your daughters have done the whole uni thing as well. Is it like first couple of years you just do enough to get by? It's all about like the uni life and having fun, and then after that it's like, right, I better get fucking serious now and try and make some of this.
I think it depends who you ask. If you ask my folks, no, that's not the way it's done, because I think I was stressing about the entire time. But I knew I didn't want to. I wanted to experience other things rather than just doing hard work at uni. Mm-hmm. I wanted to experience independence, meet new people, kind of broaden my horizons. I know as cliche as that term is, but experience more than just going and doing more academic work. Mm-hmm. I probably pushed it to its limit, and I was like, well, I don't need to get above this mark to continue my uni experience. And then I think in third year, that's when it starts to get a bit more serious. Your pass mark, or your marks actually start to go towards what your degree is going to be.
Right. Okay.
So that's when I was like, right,
start to knuckle down properly.
Yeah.
And see, the first couple of years then, was it what you expected academically, with regards to what you were being taught and your learning achievements?
Yeah, I think I was saying this in the lift up, like the whole uni experience and engineering, it's all the sexy stuff that you want to learn about. It's all like F1 cars and engines and all these kind of things that you're like, this would be so exciting as a career.
Right.
When you get out in the commercial world, that's not what it is. Right, you're not everybody's going to go on to design Formula 1 cars or fighter jets or something that you dream of when you're a wee guy. Mm-hmm. So at uni, I think they're very good at nurturing the cool shit that you want to be doing and keeping it going.
I've heard that a lot with different university courses, like architecture, for example. Like a lot of people say, they want to do the big stuff and build the big stuff and stuff like that. And a lot of it is basics to start with. It's just building the boxes and making a bigger box and adding on to that and stuff like that. So, but you need to learn those basic skills, I guess, and the fundamentals and the maths behind that.
Yeah.
But the aspiration is the big stuff, right?
Yeah, of course, always. Yeah. The first couple of years, it is more practical because you're learning so much, and then you start to focus down more and more into what niche you might go into when you come out of uni, because mechanical is so broad that you can go into a number of different sectors once you're out.
And in terms of like your experience of uni, like I never experienced uni, but my only reference point is school, and certainly when I was at school, everything was steering you towards getting a job rather than being in business or starting a business.
Yeah.
Did you feel like that was the same in uni, or was there a bit of you've got a couple of different kind of commercial paths that you can apply this learning to? One's in a 9-to-5 job, one's maybe doing something yourself.
Yeah. No, there wasn't really anything for a business, like independent route. It was all like contractors, probably the only thing that verged on that.
Right.
Was essentially self-employed and just going and doing contract work for different businesses. But I think even that wasn't portrayed the best because there's no sick pay, there's no pension, it is just obviously getting a contract from someone and doing that volume of work.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, interesting. Okay, well, you survived uni. You got out with a master's degree, well done. What was... I was about to ask what was proper job number one, but had you been working throughout uni, just part-time gigs?
Yeah, so I had like a part-time job. I actually worked in McDonald's in Suckhill Street. If you've been in that, I was doing night shifts in there. That was an
shift?
it was an experience.
God.
It was an experience. And then
For anybody listening that's not in Glasgow, I think that might be one of the only McDonald's that has like an army of security guards at night.
Yeah, it's a full unit. Yeah, so that was wild. And then I worked in a bookies as well for like 18 months. And I actually played the bagpipes while I was at uni, or like before. Yeah. So for about 2 years, I pretty much just self-funded my uni experience from busking and doing weddings. So I was playing on Buchanan Street, and that was like my go-to. Which
I feel
was
like every time I speak to you now, I'm a bit like, what?
Yeah. So that was good fun because it meant I could go out. Like that was probably my first real taste of owning some
money,
independent money that I could almost control, like effort into to return. So
how did you learn the bagpipes?
I had really bad asthma when I was younger, and my mum had done I had an inhaler and everything, and my mum had found out that bagpipes was really meant to help with asthma because you're using your lungs so much. I went along and started learning it when I was a kid, and then played in a few festivals around Europe and stuff as well.
Can you still play them today?
I probably could do one tune, like see now the World Cup's on. It's like see some videos and I'm like, I might need to get them back out. But it's been a good few years since I played them. But I feel like I could get one tune and then.
I mean, that must be a pretty good thing to whip out at 4 in the morning in a kitchen somewhere.
Yeah. Done that a couple of times and it's like, nah, I'm getting told off for this. But yeah.
Right, okay.
So that was, I think, going out and even busking and then doing weddings, and it was all, like, it's kind of all the core components, you know, you're marketing yourself to try and get business. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You're obviously negotiating what the price is going to be. You're then obviously fulfilling it when you go to the wedding. So it was good, but it was really easy money because people always need a piper. Yeah. So
I was in Edinburgh Saturday and Sunday that weekend there, and as you know, they're especially the now, I guess they're everywhere.
Yep.
And one in particular I walked by, he had the usual kind of case in front of him that had quite a lot of notes in that, but they've all now also got like a wee pole that has a card machine on there.
Oh, really?
You can just tap your card for a £5.
That's upgrades. No, I didn't have
that. All right, and what was proper job number one, as I call it?
So I moved down to Wales for a graduate engineering scheme. It was, the company's now called Safran. I think when I joined it was called Zodiac, and that was mechanical or aerospace engineering, but because it was a grad scheme you got to move around a few different placements in the business and just essentially learn the commercial aspect of everything you've learned academically. So rather than just going straight in and being like you're expected to do X, Y and Z, you have 18 months of working through different placements to get the experience.
Right, okay, God. So quite a bit to unpick there, right? So aerospace engineering. So I've always wondered this actually, right? Even with SpaceX, I don't really get it. Right?
Yeah.
I get what they're doing,
and
it's quite sexy and saucy to look at. But like, what are the commercials involved? Is it like firing rockets up to find things that we can do R&D on to then create products that serve the human race in some way, shape or form? Or is there like a commercial model associated with aerospace that I just don't understand?
So the aerospace, the company I was working for, we were building business class and first class airline seats. So that's where the money was for us.
Okay.
So it was nuts because you'd go in, there was the Singapore Airlines like hotel suite in the sky. I don't know if you've seen this thing. It's got a full lie flat bed and a chair and 2 TVs and everything.
And it's got the door that opens and closes.
So that was the company I was working for, and I actually stood in one of them, and you're just like, it's like 50 grand a one-way flight once that's on the plane, and you're just like, this is nuts. And I think that was, I'd already had probably inclines of not liking the authority piece about being stuck in a 9 to 5 and working for someone else, but then see standing in that, you're going, at the time this is like 2 times my annual wage before tax
for one flight
one way, and I was like, there's no chance I would ever be able to afford, but I was standing in it, and it was the whole discussion points around it was how to make, you know, this passenger experience the best in the world, and it was all this kind of bougie aspects, and I was like, doing this even right the way up to the top, it's probably never going to be able to experience you know, that one journey and experience what this is like on a flight. So yeah, back to your point, that's what that company was doing, was business class and first class airline seats, which obviously there is a lot of commercials in.
Aye.
And is that what pulled you into Wales then? So the university, did they have an affiliation with the Airbus facility down there?
I just wanted a change of location, wanted to try something, go somewhere else. So I applied for like a few jobs around England and Wales, and then moved down to Wales and stayed there for 2 years, get into MMA. It was good.
Right.
I liked Wales.
Right, okay. Aye, so already we've covered bagpipes, aerospace, MMA,
Yep.
And McDonald's.
And McDonald's. The MMA would have been useful before you started in McDonald's and Suckill Street.
For sure, yeah.
All right, cool. And would I be right in thinking, like, when you're involved in the design and creation of these like high flying, I don't know what you call them, like first class suites almost that exist in aeroplanes? Is it like every little component counts?
Yeah. So when I was doing the graduate scheme, I got to go around a few different departments. So one was like stress, where they're sending the chair down at like 9 Gs to see how it all crumbles and if it's safe.
Right.
Another one was processes, so how the chemicals that they use to stick the glue on and stuff aren't flammable, and all the different aspects of the materials that goes into it. And there was design, and then I think maybe electronics. I can't remember what the fourth one was. But basically I went round all 4 of them and realised that I didn't like engineering in the real world, because it was all so dull and document heavy, and just, it didn't, obviously the 5 years at uni, you're learning more and more complicated stuff, taking on more and more responsibility, doing group projects, and that felt like it was building up to be, to go in and really own something and make an impact. And then you get into it and it's like, can you design this wee bracket that goes behind the seat that does this wee thing that no one's ever going to see or know about? And it was like, this is a bit dull. Yeah.
Millions and millions of different components. And some are great. The end product, as you say, that's sweet.
Yeah.
When it's like building a house, I guess, when the end product is there, it's absolutely fantastic, inspirational. But to get that is loads of wee nuts and bolts and brackets and stuff that just fit together to make that. But being part of the process must have been pretty good though.
Yeah. So after we got like 2 months free before we picked the last 6 months, which was meant to be one of the 4 engineering departments that we essentially finished our grad scheme in. But we had 2 months free to go and pick a different part of the business that we could try out, just to get a better understanding of how it actually works. And I went into project management, and then I really fell in love with that, because I was like, this actually feels like I'm having an impact, I'm driving something forward, and I'm coordinating loads of different people, and I understand how it's all coming together, rather than it just being sitting, at your computer 8 hours a day just designing something. So I ended up staying in project management for the rest of my grad scheme, and then became a junior PM on it was a super first class project with Cathy. It was super first class. I didn't even know it existed. And it was wild. See, dealing with a customer, like everything was on the Instagram experience. Like every material selection, every little design, every thread was, how can we make this something that people just can't stop filming and posting on Instagram? Because this was like 10 years ago. So that was like the main thing. Now it would obviously be TikTok, but at the time it was how can we get people to take photos of this and post it everywhere?
Oh my god, that's so amazing. It's amazing, isn't it? I think we playing, you could use 1,000 user examples where you turn up and you sit down and a thing just does a thing, but it just works, and you like a noob like me just gives that no thought. But actually, probably every single component of even just a standard economic flight, the seat you're sitting in, the thing in front of you, the wee net that your stuff goes in, everything's been thought of, designed, safety tested, tested again and again and again. And
the certifications and everything that goes along with a single product. Just I worked in components for a while in telecommunications, and we did a lot for the airline. So I was fortunate to go to Toulouse to see the Airbus facility down there and watch an A340 being built from scratch. and it is just incredibly amazing engineering.
Yeah.
The whole project management thing of building that whole aircraft is just amazing. And it's processes, it's systems, it's, controls and quality right down the supply chain line to every single small vendor that's providing components to the whole thing have to comply.
Yeah.
And the training that goes into that to be able to, provide products to that type of industry is just incredibly good.
Yeah, that is wild because it feels so far ahead. But when you look at like automotive and everything, like aerospace is so far back compared to what they're doing in terms of their processes, just because it takes so long to actually change anything. Because it's so like regulated that it's like, no. To go through a change of any material or bring something new into the market just takes a ridiculous amount of time. Yeah.
Aye. I tell you, it's gave me I don't even know what the term is. Just driven a lot of respect for engineering, which is unusual for me because I just don't get even a second of thought. Is see that thing they're building at the side of the motorway there, the waste to energy or waste to energy plant at the M8.
Yeah.
It's like it's so vast, and when you drive by it, there's so many parts that you can see. I often just think, how the hell do they get like? How do they know what part goes where first? There's so many parts there.
Yeah.
That is an amazing facility, and I drive past it often and I see it, and I've watched it for the last probably 5 years now when it was getting built from the ground, but then they excavate a huge amount. The whole process, I've been fortunate to be in a lot of working waste to energy facilities, and the process is just amazing. But to then actually see this one getting built from scratch, like a mechano set, and it's been built from the inside out, basically, because of the plant that's
and how complex it is inside.
That. And now the fabrication of the external shell. But kind of watching that, it's just how that's people who've designed that. Yes, lots and lots of computers, etc., to be able to do it, but the whole thing about how does that just pull together? And when that's finished, it's just going to look amazing. But how many vendors, how many people like you, how many project managers,
how many tests had to be done before anything? It's insane. Yeah.
Oh well, we've righted all the wrongs in the world with engineering in 5 minutes here. So, couple of years in Wales, and then were you back up the road after that?
No, so I moved up to Durham, just outside Newcastle.
Right, okay.
And I joined, it was a Centre for Process Innovation, so it was like a government-funded test and kind of like a lab. I joined the electronics department, but there was essentially, you could go to the government with an idea and you could get funding, and you could, if it was new technology, you could come to us and we would partner up with you to help get you up from idea to essentially like market ready product. You could do a few different stages. So I joined there as a project manager. There was some cool stuff. We made the first flexible, like fully flexible battery, which was quite cool to work on. So a guy came up with an idea about essentially having a roll of tape with these trackers on it, and you could pull it off, and like for hospitals or building sites, you could stick this little bit of tape onto a tool, and that could go around wherever, and you could go on your phone, you could see exactly what it was, but that needed like a flexible battery. So it was some of the most intelligent people I've ever met. Like they were speaking to me and I was like, I don't have a clue what you're talking about. I just need to know how long it's going to take and how much it's going to cost.
Well, that must have been an interesting gig then, actually.
Yeah.
How long were you there?
That was 2 years as well. So that moved up there, and then 3 weeks later COVID happened. And so I'd moved somewhere new, didn't know anyone.
Oh no.
And then everything shut down. But because we were government funded, we essentially all got redeployed into the like the biology unit, and we were doing spike proteins and like ventilators and stuff. So it was a nuts time.
I bet, aye. Oh God, that must have been garbage actually, moving to a new town, and then it's like, right, you're locked up for the next 2 years.
And you're working on the thing that's holding everybody essentially locked up. So yeah, it was a crazy time.
What was COVID like for you overall? Was it a not so good time? Did you manage fine with it in the end?
I think because I was busy and I was working, like it didn't feel that bad. After it, I went travelling for 6 months, so it was obviously bad enough to be like, I'm not continuing to work once we've come out of this. I wanted to get away for a bit. But yeah, I think having something to focus on, and the fact that you're in a team and everyone's going through the same thing, and you are constantly talking to people day to day online, over Teams and stuff, it didn't feel as, I think, isolated as some people felt.
Right. Where did you go? Let's go into the exciting stuff. Where did you go travelling?
Thailand and Vietnam.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Was it
amazing.
good?
Yeah, it was incredible.
Aye.
Absolutely loved it.
I never done that when we travelled the whole Asia thing, and now that I think we were talking about this recently, now that I've got the wee one, it'll be one for later in life. I think it's not really the done thing to take your wee one to places like that.
Yeah.
But I see the videos on social media, and even in the marketing world, actually, there's a huge proportion of people that like to duke off to Bali for a period and get the sandals on. And do the whole digital nomad thing. And I don't know, you always feel like you're missing it a wee bit when you look out of the window in Glasgow and it's pissing a rain for like the 400th day in a row.
Especially in June. It's depressing.
Did you solo travel or did you go with mates?
No, I was with my partner at the time.
Right, okay.
So we went and done 6 months and travelled around, but because it was just out of COVID, there was obviously their main industry is tourism in Thailand and Vietnam, and they didn't have that. So we went and it was like living luxury, but you could do all the touristy things that normally take a massive amount of time, but it was also dead cheap because no one had been there. So it was 4 or 5 star hotels for like 10, 15 quid a night. It was nonsense.
Nice.
So yeah, it was good. It was good fun.
Aye. And then it was back to the dreary UK. Yeah,
came back to Glasgow and joined Clydespace. So that's a small satellite company. So outside of, as a fun fact, outside of California, Glasgow's got the highest number of space products sold. So yeah, we're one of the top producers in the space industry.
I would never have known that.
I've been to 2 of the SpaceX conventions at the SEC.
Yeah.
The first one, I was sent there. It wasn't even on my radar yet. Just go to a space expo.
Yeah.
And it absolutely blew me away.
Yeah.
And that one of the first speakers up there, said that fact. There's more satellites that are produced and designed and produced in Scotland than anywhere.
Yeah. Why is
California.
that? What are we doing to incentivise that, or like to bring people here to do that? Like, is there a?
I couldn't tell you. I just know that fact. But yeah, there's a lot of businesses. So the company I was working for, our main competitor was essentially in Sky Park in the same office block. Like they were in Sky Park 1, we were in Sky Park 5.
God.
And then there's just a bunch of space companies here.
Right, okay.
It seems like there's a lot of funding and support for it.
And what were you doing for them? Was it in project management?
Yeah, so I joined as a project manager and delivered a project there, and then I got promoted to head of projects after like 8 months. And then it was running the portfolio, which was stressful, but it was good fun. Yeah.
What was it about project management that you liked, do you think?
I think it was just it was chaotic, but you had to wear all the different hats. So you had to be client facing, you had to be able to lead a team, you had to manage a budget, you had to manage the delivery and the schedule of what was going to happen. So I feel like because there was so much variation in it, it was, I don't know, it was scratching an itch for me that I felt like if I was just focused on one thing and I didn't have to care about the rest of the stuff, I would feel like I wasn't contributing as much or having as much impact as I wanted to.
Right, okay. Interesting. And I think so I done a couple of years as a project manager before I stepped into business myself, and then like you looked after the portfolio. I was just good with my mouth, really, and good at like coordinating effort, almost picking the phone up to people and, right, you need to go and speak to him. And but having spent a small amount of time with you, now I can see, to be honest, why you would have been a pretty good project manager.
Appreciate that.
And I don't know, like, I feel like I talk about this a lot now, but I think in life you often get the brain or the mouth, as I say. It's very rare that you meet people that are exceptionally technically gifted, but can also communicate really, really well.
Yeah.
I don't know about your technical capabilities, but I dare say it's pretty good.
Appreciate it.
So I think you seem to be one of the chaps that have been blessed with both. God damn it.
I can definitely talk, I know that. I don't know about the technical aspects.
I can talk, but I need to rely heavily on other people for technical support, which is fine. I've came to accept in time it is what it is.
Yeah.
And actually I'm just grateful that I've been given some that I can use. So all right, mate, and how long were you there for in the end?
I think that was just shy of 3 years. Yeah.
3 years, right? Okay.
Yep.
And before we get to your leap into business,
Yep.
the name of the podcast is of course Risking It All. So we know at some point you've risked it all and went for it. But when did you start to have wee feelings or thoughts in your head about, I could be doing something on my own here? Like, can you remember, was there a singular moment where you met somebody or you encountered something where you thought, oh God, and that's a wee fire in you?
So there was just wee things, like obviously I spoke about the playing the bagpipes and doing the weddings and stuff. During COVID, I was essentially doing anything to earn a little bit extra money, because you've got a lot of free time. You're in, you can't do anything at the weekends and in the evenings. So I was like reselling trainers for a bit and made a little bit of money off that. I was match betting, where I essentially like guaranteed to make X, and made money off that. And then I continued to do that when I was away traveling. And then came back, and my partner at the time and we'd split up not long after we'd came back. And it was like, right, I kind of wanted something else to do. Like I wanted more than just 9 to 5, see my pals, go out at the weekend. And when I got promoted, there was obviously a salary increase, so there was extra money coming in. And I just started looking at different things that I could essentially use that money to do. And the thing I landed on was property. So there was obviously a lot of, and there still is a lot of property people in Scotland doing a lot of things. Went and done a few courses and thought that was going to be my avenue, that I was going to invest in property, get out my job, run that. And it's a lot more difficult than what it's made out to be in the courses and on social media, I feel like.
Was it sourcing you were doing?
That's what I was doing at the start, yeah.
How did you find that?
Hourly rate must have been absolutely shocking. Like done a few deals and stuff, but just it felt like it was just brute force the entire time. It was wake up in the morning before work, spend a couple hours on it, come back from work, spend a few more hours on it, spend the weekends. Like it just always felt like it never felt like a business. And that's where the automation and the systems came from, because it just never felt like a business. And I was like, people that have got, tens of millions of pounds a year business can't just be doing it off brute force. There has to be something else that fits into this. And that's where I started going down rabbit holes with AI and automation.
I don't know. Well, I was going to say I don't know why. It is just a personal thing, right? But even to this day, property bores me to tears. I don't know why. I just can't get excited about it. I get it. Park your money in it. It's only going to go on one way in time. It just doesn't excite me. It just doesn't. It seems to be the path that everybody that's got a bit of extra kind of wedge goes down.
Yeah.
Like I need to park my money, what am I going to do with it? I just think I'd always rather put it into something that's a bit riskier and exciting. Maybe that'll change in time as my risk profile maybe decreases when I get a bit older.
I think probably 20 years ago and stuff, 20, 30 years ago, people were seeing that as a fairly safe investment. And it started to get a bit exciting because the media and TV programs really started to connect with it. People who had bought properties and started that renovation type thing, and they had started to build portfolios and stuff like that. So it actually, it became an industry, a proper big industry, because it was exposed to one of these things, and then maybe low barriers to entry other than cash as well. You see you've done courses and stuff to help you with that. A lot of people probably wouldn't. They go to an auction or they buy a property. Maybe good at DIY or not, but they'd have a wee vision, invest a wee bit of money in it, and make a decent amount, and then move on. But I think when TV starts to pick this, but media and social channels start to pick these type of things up, people kind of say, "Oh, me too," type thing. And, I could probably easily do that, as opposed to start a new business. So a supplementary income, possibly, and an easy entry vehicle for people. And it did look good. I've watched these programs for decades now, and some of them look really good. I'd be kind of in it, but I've never done it.
And there's a FOMO element as well. If it starts going all over social media, you start thinking that you're missing out and people are doing more than you. So at the time, that was the avenue that I went into. I thought it's something I can do alongside, make a little bit of extra income, take it to where I want it to go to. Good.
John's alarm's just gone off in the middle of the podcast. Hi all, sorry to interrupt the podcast. We'll get back in just 30 seconds. This podcast is brought to you by Jolly Media Marketing. If you are a business owner and you're looking to grow your brand and generate more leads, then Jolly Media Marketing can help your business do exactly that. Our team focuses on video-first paid advertising. We create engaging content and we promote that using targeted campaigns that will consistently bring in new customer inquiries. We also help businesses with SEO and GEO, which is generative engine optimization, helping AI search engines like ChatGPT and Gemini find your brand. We also arrange podcast appearances, PR, out-of-home advertising using billboards, and organic LinkedIn strategy consultancy. All designed to help your brand be seen and help new customer inquiries arrive into the business every single week. To learn more about how we help businesses grow and to see if we can do the exact same for your local business, go and visit our website at www.jollymediamarketing.com. Speak to you soon. So, but you quickly realised, I guess, that it's a very kind of unleveraged business model and requires a lot of grunt work, time, effort on your part. And started to have thoughts, I guess, about, was it initially like how do I automate some of the grunt work in property sourcing? Is that what took you down the rabbit hole?
Yeah, so I spent a lot of time bringing in AI and automation. So I was running some ads. How do I get qualified leads from that? So I was building AI agents to qualify leads, book them into my calendar, doing some AI automated due diligence so that I wasn't having to sit and scroll through and look at every single deal and work out if it's a deal or not. And it was...
When was this out of interest?
This was mid 2024.
Right, okay.
So I was kind of building all that up towards the end of 2024. And then I went away at the start of the year and came back and I met my good pal Scott McFarlane, who runs Retrofit Properties. So he does like an SE management business. He was managing, I think, maybe like 8 units at the time, but he was in a pretty chaotic time. Everything was falling to him. He was experiencing the same kind of brute force, 14-hour days, crazy amount of screen time. So he asked if we could sit down and I could show him the automations and the systems and how I was putting it in place in my business. And this wasn't like a sales pitch. I wasn't getting into this thinking this could be something. I was like, this is just my pal. I was focusing on the property stuff. But how can I help him try and get a bit more of his time back and actually run it like a proper business? And we were meant to sit down for 2 hours, and his phone, I think he took like 17 calls during that time. Like it's like 3 coffees, like just looking like he'd been through the wars already. And after about an hour and a half, he just turned around and said, "Look, mate, I'm way too busy and I don't have the time to spend and learn this. Can I just pay you a monthly fee and you can run these systems for me?" And that was like the light bulb moment. So that was the first time I was like, holy shit, this actually sounds like something. So I was like, yeah, of course. We agreed a price. And then he said, why don't you just do this as a business? Like, you love this shit. Like, this is, it scratches like the technical itch for me. I'm building something that's a bit techy and a bit nerdy, but it's also got all the business elements of it. And it's something that I can help as many different people as I can with it. So that was like probably one of the most important questions I've been asked was, why don't you do this as a business? And that just changed my entire life, that one question.
Wow.
There you go, the light bulb moment.
Yeah.
All right.
What age were you then, if you don't mind?
That was 30. Yeah.
Excellent.
So that was January 2025. And then I started Taylor Digital Systems on the 13th of February. So I was like, I'll put the feelers out to more than one person and make sure there's a good enough market for it.
So that was my next question, actually. So you've had that light bulb moment. I guess you've stumbled into signing your first client, which is a good mate, which is typically the case for most business owners. It's normally somebody in your inner circle. What was the next? So I'm guessing you were still working full time.
Yeah, still working full time.
It was a side gig. Was it then just building it up on the side in your spare time to that point where you thought, right, I've got something going here? Yeah,
I mean, just essentially flipped. I still thought there was something in the property element because I'd built up quite a lot of, I built up a good network. I had a couple of clients that I was working for. I had some things lined up and plans for it. But I essentially just went to as many networking events as I could and just spoke to as many business owners, mostly in the property space, but just speaking to as many as possible to find out what their problems were, what their bottlenecks were, and could I build something that would help alleviate it.
God, and you're not going to struggle for property networking events in Glasgow.
was-
you can go to two a day,
Yeah,
I think.
yeah.
But you love networking, right?
Yeah.
We've talked about this before, right?
Yeah.
You absolutely, you're in that complete circuit.
Yeah, as many as I can. It's fallen off a little bit because I'm so busy with the business now, with the client pool we've got,
Right.
and the team. But yeah, that's how I've grown pretty much the entire business to.
And was that a conscious strategy then for networking, or did it just start to happen and then organically grown? Tell us about
Yeah,
networking.
it was quite organic. Like, I just love meeting new people and finding out what cool shit people are doing. So it wasn't so much that was a marketing strategy. I was just liked going to these events, because I remember going to my first property event and someone asked me what I was doing. I was like, I don't even know, mate. I'm just here to find all this stuff. I was like, what are you doing? They're like, oh, well, I've just bought this portfolio of X, Y, and Z, refinancing this. And it was like hearing that language and it come off so casually from someone about what they were doing. I was like, holy shit, people are doing this. You know, it's not all just a facade online. There is actually people out there doing it. So I remember that conversation. So I was just like, I want to get around more and more people doing that and understand it as much as I can. And the best way, I think, to learn it is to be around the people that are doing it rather than just, virtual learning. So it wasn't until I joined the business mastermind I'm in and I was saying to my coach, right, I'm going to run ads, I'm going to do content and everything. He's like, what have you done to get to this point? And I was like, networking. He's like, do you think we could just do more networking? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, right, let's do that. So yeah, that was when it became a conscious marketing strategy.
Mm-hmm.
I find networking's a bit like golf, right? And hear me out here. If you're anything like me, when you play golf, you have somewhere between 95 and 110 awful shots around, but there's like one amazing shot that everybody has in a round, and it's like that keeps you coming back.
Yeah.
You hit it flush.
Yep.
You know, it lands in the green, or you sink a putt for, 15, 20 foot.
Yep.
That's what keeps you going back.
Yep.
I think networking's a bit like that, where you just a lot of times need to wade through. I was going to say wade through shit, right? It's a bit demeaning, but there is a lot of like, almost like people like you in the beginning when you're saying, I don't really know why I'm here. I don't really know what I've got to offer.
Yeah.
But then you meet one person
Yeah.
and it's like, oh, that's inspiring.
Yeah.
Or actually, that's a great fucking business card for me to
Yeah.
get in my wallet.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of times people give up on networking because it's just not happening for them. Like, networking isn't a thing, I don't think, but it's like you turn up, you get the cards, you phone, you do the business, you move on to the next one.
Yeah.
That attribution is just like, you need to be going into it just thinking, I'm here to have a good wee night, meet people, put myself out there.
Yeah.
Something will probably come of it at some point,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to worry too much about ramming my business card down somebody's throat to try and get something tonight.
Yeah. I think a lot of people don't do enough volume at networking events. Like, I don't think they speak to as many people as possible. I think they'll speak to 3 or 4 people, not get anything from that, and then be like, oh, well, that event's shit, or I didn't, networking doesn't work. Like, I think it's the same, like running ads or anything, you need enough data to then justify what your conversions and everything is. So I usually make it my mission to get us round as much of the room as possible, as quick as possible.
And also, I think what I've learned in time is just going to the event isn't enough. You need to follow up.
Yeah.
Again, it's like when a lead comes in through an ad.
Yeah.
That's just a nibble.
Yeah.
You then need to nurture it and speak to them and, have a good conversation and get a relationship going. In the same way that John and I done after we met you, it's like, right, let's get a call in the diary, let's meet, and fast forward 2 weeks and we're sitting on a podcast together, and who knows what will come of that. I think the more you do that, there's just a compounding effect.
Yeah.
But I think too many folk just turn up, as you say, maybe speak to 3 or 4 people, get a business card, onto the next networking event, onto the next networking event.
And I think they expect people to just phone them and be like, I want to give you X, Y, and Z of my money, like, for your services. Like, it is all in that conversation, and I think building a connection with the person and making sure that you understand what their business is, rather than just going into it like, I'm here to make a sale.
Yeah.
Because that's where I've found, if I actually find the people in the room that I know I can help, and they feel like I get it and that I understand what their bottlenecks are and what the issues are they're experiencing, then they're much more likely to at least book in a call or meet for a coffee or something off the back of it.
Aye. All right, mate. Well, I want to dig into that. So that period you had where you're kind of running this as a side gig, you're working full time, you're networking your ass off, right? Inevitably, you'll start to have thoughts in your head about, right, I need to get to this point, and when I get to that point, I can then look at pulling the lever, risking it all, jumping out into it full time. Where was your head at there? Were you thinking, I want to get so much money in the bank, I want to get so many clients on my books? Was it a mixture of both?
Yeah.
Did you start to speak to people in your circle, like parents, who were maybe a bit like, hang on a minute here, you're not giving up a fucking engineering job to jump into this nonsense? Just talk us through that first maybe 6 months.
Yeah, so it was August, the 29th of August, 2025 was when I went full-time in the business.
You remember that date?
I remember that
clearly
date,
there,
So it was a bit forced evolution. So I'd been invited on to be a guest speaker on a call, and I had this like ridiculous fear of public speaking when it was when I was as a graduate. Like, I was fine in uni, and I felt like going into the corporate world, I don't know what it was, I started freaking out anytime I knew I was public speaking. Like, even on calls, I got very, like, really, really nervous about it. So one of the things when I came back from traveling was I wanted to tackle that. So I got a public speaking coach when, like, I'm really easy to sell to if I've got a problem and somebody's like, I can help you. It's going to cost you X. Usually I'm like, sound, that works. So I signed up with him. That was absolutely phenomenal. Like, changed so much just in terms of how I was communicating. I think that then opened up doors for building connections with people at networking events and everything else. But that got me over a large part of my like phobia on public speaking.
Who is it? Do you want to plug him?
Do you know, he's just saved in my phone as Mark, public speaking coach, but his name's Mark. If anyone wants it, I'll stick his details in. Apologies, Mark, if you're watching. So yeah, that was massive. And then so that was 2023. I had my first block with him, and then I had another. So around June, July, because I'd started to get some traction, started to get some clients. Obviously, I was going to networking events a lot, so I was seeing people that I was working for and were my clients. And that was then allowing me to leverage them to meet more people, because no one was really doing it in the property space. Like, it's such an old industry, and people don't treat it like a business. They treat it as a side hustle, even though they're doing 14-hour days and constantly on their phone on WhatsApp. So it allowed me to leverage the people that I was already doing work for to make introductions to more people. And
what was at that point, I don't mean to interrupt your flow, we will come back to that journey in a minute, but what was like the hero product, if you like, that you were offering these people? Yeah, initially it was white labelled Go High Level, and then I was essentially built all the automations and stuff in there, and then I partnered up with a few different tools like Property Market Intel, and I was essentially automating as much as I could think. So when a lead comes in, everything through to getting the deal into legals and agreed, I was automating as much as possible. So it was automated referrals, automated due diligence, AI, lead qualification, appointment booking. It was all of those kind of core components. And I just started adding more and more stuff to it that I thought would help. Which in today's world is certainly still handy, but going back even a couple of years, like, I can see how that could have been very valuable. Yeah. All right, mate. And so I interrupted you. Yeah. Interrupted your journey there. So that was building up more and more credibility in the space, and I'd been invited on as a guest speaker onto a call, like a fortnightly call for a property group. Right. And I was like, right, this is now. The public speaking before was for a corporate job that I was like, okay, there's risk involved if it doesn't go right, but it's not, I'm not going to get sacked if I mess up a presentation. Whereas this is your business, this is your reputation. So I started going to Toastmasters. I don't know if you've heard of that, like the public speaking group. No. So you can go along, it's once or twice a month, and you go along and you essentially just get the opportunity to speak in front of other people doing it, and they give you feedback, and then the people who give feedback, they have to stand up and give it, and then they get given feedback on their feedback. So it's a really structured way of doing it. And I was meant to go to one on the Tuesday night, was a bit ill and my throat was a bit funny, so I was like, I'm not going to go along to a speaking event that I don't know anyone at and speak and sound all choked up. That sounds like really disrespectful. So I waited, went to a different one on the Thursday,
And as I was walking in the door, a guy held the door for me and I asked him if he was going to Toastmasters. And it's Connor Malone, who's the head coach at the Uncommon, which is the business mastermind I'm in. And we got talking. He seen like the tattoo in the back of my neck, which is from Thailand. And we hit it off. And the next week, that was the last Toastmasters he was attending before he was going out to Thailand and Bali for 6 months. So it was the only time I could have met him at one. And we ended up going for a coffee, chatted for about an hour and a half. And I then joined the Uncommon. And it was, I think the 23rd of June was when I joined. So that was about 6 weeks later. I was essentially full-time in the business. And from, I think it was April of 2025, we hadn't landed as much work in Clydespace as what we thought we were going to. Some projects had been delayed. I won't say too much in my opinions of what was happening at the top, but some things were going on, and they were making redundancies in the Glasgow site. And my team was up for redundancy, the project management department, and one was going on mat leave, and they were deciding to make 2 redundant, which would have left myself and the most junior member of staff in the team to run the whole portfolio, which was like 8 projects and about 20 million.
So you're now thinking, how the fuck did I get made redundant here?
Yep, that is exactly
I
it.
need to start behaving like an arse here so that they get rid of me.
Yeah. So I got into, I wasn't up for it because I was in the senior leadership team, but we ended up having a very emotional outburst to my boss, trying to work out how this decision had been made and what the strategy was to get out the other side of it. Couldn't get an answer, and he essentially just turned around and said, what are you actually looking for here, Andrew? And I was like, I want to be made redundant. And his face dropped, and then I was like still so riled up that I was like, yep, no, I want to be made redundant. And he said, right, I need to go away and consider it, let me come back to you next week. Voice noted the guys at the Uncommon. I was like, right, I've done this, blah, blah, blah. Still really emotionally driven at that point. And then it was John get back to me, I think a few hours later, and he was like, how are we feeling now that we've calmed down, and is this still the right decision that you want to go ahead with? And I was like, yeah, let's see what happens here. So that kick-started a 6-week journey. I had to complete half my notice period before they could let me go.
Right.
So got a small payout, left, and then that was it. It was full time in the business, which was pretty terrifying.
I was going to ask, were you shitting it?
Initially I remember jumping on, I think my first sales call on the Monday morning, and it was just a shambles. I'd landed a few clients, but it was always that safety net of having the full-time job, and jumped on a sales call expecting it to be like a catch-up that I was having with this one guy, and jumped on, and it was in the boardroom of there with God. 3 of them sitting in suits, right. And I'd just moved into this flat. Like my landlord had sold the flat I was living in, I think like 2 or 3 weeks before I'd went full time in the business. So I was between flats, like was on my pal's spare room for a week while I was moving into this other flat. Jumped on this sales call Monday morning. I was like, right, business owner, full time in this is getting all my attention. I'm going to take this up to new heights, and jumped on this call and was just totally unprepared for it to be a big kind of corporate sign-off.
Even to this day, I find I don't mind being in a physical boardroom. Like me and John recently were, I guess, honoured to pitch to like 10, 11, 12 people in a boardroom. Folk had flew in from Belgium, and I quite enjoyed that. Like being physically there, but like dialing remotely into a boardroom, you can see there's like 6 people around a table. I still find that to this day. I won't say intimidating. It just rarely goes smoothly because there's a bit of a delay between you speaking and it getting echoed to the room. Folk are chatting in and asking questions. You're a bit like, are they hearing me? Are they not hearing me? So even with all the experience that we've gathered, I still find that a bit like, it's just not an ideal position to selfie, I don't think.
No, and I think just because you're sitting like webcam at the computer, you feel a lot smaller when you're looking at your screen and there's like 3 or 4 people sitting there all facing you, suited up. I was like, oh shit, so that one went didn't go the best. And I was like, right, what have I done? Have I made the right decision here? But yeah,
it's like though any meeting you do go on, you just how much preparation do you do, and what is that environment going to feel like when you actually get into that meeting, whether it's physical or if it's on Zoom, and you just don't know, and it's like, how do you mentally prepare yourself for that thing? And you can only do what you can, but always I think we try as best as possible. If we can do a face to face, then it's much better. They can be tricky as well, and we've done loads of them through our careers, I guess. But it's just better because you get the read of the room, you get the body language, and you can relax more a wee bit, and you kind of know how to, target the emotion and the pitch to the appropriate people. Yeah. But it's really hard when you're doing that remotely.
Yeah. You get the little side conversations as well when you go in. You'll speak to a few different people. You'll kind of warm up a couple of there's much more that goes into it rather than just joining the call and being like, because I think that one guy was very, very pessimistic about AI and automation. Yeah. And I didn't know he was going to be in the call. So it was very much like, I'm on here to tell you essentially no, but I want you to know that we're saying no. And I was like, all right. So that was a scary moment first Monday morning.
And that segues me on nicely to ask you about sales. Yeah. So obviously as an engineer, there's, I guess, elements of selling internally, ideas, thoughts, strategy, but that's very different to selling a product or a service. How did you take to sales and selling your product or service in that first kind of 6 months?
Yeah, I love it. It's my favourite bit, sales. Yeah. So I'm pretty much fully out of delivery now. I've got a client success manager and 2 full-time devs. So I'm just on lead generation and sales, and obviously leading the business. But yeah, it's my favourite bit. I think just because obviously it feels good to get the sales win, but I think because we are now doing so much varied stuff for so many different businesses in different sectors, you can see the problem that people were dealing with before on the sales call, and you can also see the impact it's going to have, and you can literally you can get it right down to what their life is going to look like after we implement this solution. And that for me is the main part of why we're doing what we're doing.
And how has that product offering evolved since you've began? So you were in property, you're doing a bit of go high level white labeling with some integrations, it sounds like how has that evolved? What does that look like now, and who are you doing that for? Yeah,
so now we are building full web apps, so it's custom from the ground up systems that do exactly what each business needs it to do. So we don't have any products that we roll off as a SaaS. We are very much diagnose and then build what the business needs. A lot of it will usually start with a business management dashboard. So people might have a lead to sales tool like Go High Level. They might have a delivery tool like some CRM.
Payaka or Monday.
Monday or something like that.
Whatever.
And then they'll have their finance tool like Xero or QuickBooks, but none of those are integrated, and none of those at any one point a business owner can pull up and go, what is the state of my business? Are we in a good place or a bad place? So we'll start with a dashboard that will pull all that information into one place, set the KPIs, and then we'll work out, okay, what's actually falling over? Is it lead to sales? Is it operations? Is it client management? Is it late payment recovery? PO, admin work? Is there too much time going into admin that's causing issues elsewhere? And once we've got that, that's when we then correct everything, and then we know what levers we can pull to actually take them to the next level.
So I've spoke to you about that dashboard before, right?
Yep.
And I guess there will be people listening that are maybe in own business thinking, well, why on earth would a business owner need it? Surely business owners know leads and marketing and sales and outstanding invoices, etc., off the back of their hand.
Yeah.
And it'd be interesting to hear your viewpoint, but I know where mine firmly lies. And, I'm not going to bullshit you. Sometimes in our own business, it's just you're spinning that many plates that you just don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
You just don't. You like to feel like you're in control the majority of the time.
Yeah.
But there's absolutely still things that creep up where you go, I should have been on top of that.
Yeah.
But what's your viewpoint on that? And in your experience in dealing with small to medium-sized enterprises in particular, are people on it or are they not on it?
No, I think if you need to constantly be on it, if 24 hours, 7 days a week, you're always looking at the numbers, you don't really have a business then. You should, there's even times where I'll go away for the weekend and come back on a Monday And I'll be like, right. And you almost feel like you're relearning the state of where everything is at. And to me, I think you should be able to have something that keeps track of exactly where your business is, and then you can use it as much as you want. But no, I don't think that there is too much going on all the time, and it changes too quickly for every business owner to know exactly what is going on. Mm-hmm. And I also think when people spend enough time running their own business, they feel like they've got a gut feeling about what's going on, and they maybe then relax on actually knowing the data points of the business. Whereas for us, data should always drive the decisions.
Right, okay. So just so that I understand now, I was going to say the typical offering or the bespoke offering is, I guess, in-depth discovery, building version 1.0 of that dashboard.
Yep.
And then using, I guess, the data that's been surfaced from that dashboard to go, right, actually, you have a real problem here with, I don't know, outstanding invoices continuously being collected late, and that's creating cash flow problems. So you would then say, we can create a web app that will help you stay on top of that?
Yeah, or we'll build like a full bespoke AI agent that will chase up all the payments, and it will discuss with the client what the status is, if they need payment plans, whatever it is, and it'll only flag for human intervention once you actually get to a point that a human's needed to go in. So,
oh my God. Right,
so
okay.
that
we're getting into it now.
That's if it's lead to sales, say they've got 100 leads coming in, but only 15 are actually booking appointments, and that leads down to 3 sales or something, then there's obviously leads are coming in, and for some reason there's a blocker in getting appointments booked. So we'd build an automation system or agentic AI that would help convert those over to appointments.
Right. So what's your ideal customer profile then?
So we've got 2. There's the businesses that are essentially in chaos. So business owners working 14, 16, 18 hours a day, can't be away from their phone, can't take time off, can't spend time with their family, and feel like they're having to push everything through manually in their business. We'll work with them to essentially clarify or gain clarity on where their business is operating on, and then we'll build the systems to help pull them out. And then the other profile that we work with is what we call the optimizers. So they've got to a certain level, they've got tools in place, they've got staff, but they've hit a ceiling maybe for a couple of years in a row, and they know that something needs to change. And a lot of those businesses, they've got good team members who've worked with them for a good few years, and they know the business well, but they're stuck doing manual tasks or admin heavy jobs that they're thinking we're wasting these staff members' potential having them do all this kind of groundwork.
And you can maybe expand on that. So there's 2 customer types here that you've explained eloquently. For me, I think, you can tell me if I'm incorrect in my interpretation, but the first one is maybe harder to sell to. The second one maybe a wee bit easier because they're already kind of in that optimization mode, but they know they need to get better. From our previous discussion, I know that you don't have like somebody comes to you with a problem and you don't come out with well, this is how I fix it. And this is my solution. It isn't that, is it? It's more a deep, as Brian says, that discovery session. Properly understand them, their company, before you can even approach what a potential solution would be, which is a really smart sell, and that's what we find ourselves having to do a lot. But that first type of customer is sometimes quite tricky because they're running the show, they kind of think they know everybody and everything, and it's trying to break that down to say, well, actually we can help by compartmentalizing different areas and making it work better.
I'd say the hardest, the chaos operators, the hardest bit about them, I think they're probably easier to sell to, or it's not the sales side of things, it's the identity change that comes once we've delivered the solution, because they might have been 3-4 years operating in chaos. Everything falls to them. They feel there's a bit of pride and a bit of responsibility that comes from being the bottleneck, and that when we then solve that and get their time back, there's a bit of, well, what do I do now? And we do find that they'll stop using the system, or they'll kind of remove themselves from it and try and find other ways that they can busy themselves. So I've noticed that there's been a bit of that transition period. We almost need to support them in what they're now meant to do
with that free time.
With that free time as the business owner and not just as the bottleneck.
Right.
Yeah, which has been interesting because it does get into a bit of like business coaching almost at that point. Yeah.
I can see that actually.
Yeah.
And I can see you, like us, I was going to say getting dragged in. We're willing participants now, but we used to get dragged into a lot of conversations around non-marketing type activity.
Yep.
The obvious one's sales,
Yep.
right? So it's like, right, lead flow is banging now. We've got these video ads running. The
Yep.
landing page is converting well.
Yep.
Got all of this interest, but
Yep.
I'm struggling to convert.
Yeah.
I'm in that cycle of lead comes in, I sit at, I send a quote, I'm back to the front, and I'm not really focusing on back
Yep.
end, which is where the money sits.
Yep.
We find ourselves more and more often now going, right, let's have a bit of a session on sales.
Yep.
Despite it being a marketing outfit.
Yep.
And initially I was probably, rightly or wrongly, I initially tried to hold us back for that, because I was like, no, it's like, this is our lane and let's stick to it. And if they need sales expertise or help or coaching, there's sales coaches out there in abundance. But eventually I think, and you're possibly in the same space, you realise that actually, like, well, you grow to really enjoy working with these people.
Yeah.
You know, and you get a bit of a relationship going and you want to see them succeeding. But B, also for us selfishly, like if there's no selling well, even if the marketing is on fire, you're probably toast at some point anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So might as well help them and protect the business.
Yeah, 100%.
What's your viewpoint on getting kind of dragged into the spaces that you're on the face of it, no being paid to do almost, but it's like, well, as you say, there's maybe an element of business coaching.
Yeah. I don't mind it for the level we're at just now. I think as the team and the business grows, there will need to be harder lines on what we're actually getting involved with. Right now, like I do really enjoy it, and our main goal is to turn all the chaos people into optimizers, because we want to continue to work with the people we're working with, like all of the clients we really like. We do see it as more long-term partnerships where we solve this problem. No business is going to be perfect. There's always going to be issues, and if you're continuing to grow, there's going to be new issues, which we hope we can be the ones to solve it for our clients. So I don't mind where we go over and above, promote us going over and above with the systems we deliver, but I don't mind that spilling out, because that's where the longer term partnerships can come from. And if we can continue to nurture our current client base and sign new clients, then the growth is just exponential as we continue to scale.
Is there a particular sector that you're still strong in at the minute? Is it property still?
Property and home improvements is our two main ones, but we've now in fitness, finance, coaching, networking, obviously doing the Tartan Talks. So it's like, it's just, I like, we've not really, no one's came to us with a problem that we've not been able to solve, which I like, and I want to kind of see how far we can push it until we're like.
That's because what the model you got is very transferable across different sectors.
Yeah, because it's all the same frameworks.
Yeah.
You know, if leads are decent and you've got a good marketing agency, but sales are poor or appointments are poor, we can do something with that. If you're not able to, if client fulfillment and client experience is down, then we've got stuff that we can apply for that. We can build apps that clients can download and see their whole journey. If it's staff management, we can put a lot more processes and systems in place to manage staff better and reward them when they do exceed expectations. If it's admin, finances, there's loads of stuff we can apply. So it is taking the frameworks that we've done, but every business is different because of the way they do things and the team that they've got and the attitude and the tools that they're using. So that's where we need to adapt stuff. But it does come down to the core frameworks that we've worked on already.
Yep. And when you're like selling this service to, let's say I'm a local heating company, you know, I might have 10 to 20 staff members. For us, I guess, when we're like serving a particular niche and we have a solid track record in that niche, it's a bit easier to go, well, here's the dashboard, you know, here's how we're currently doing, here's the spend we're managing, here's the ROI that our clients are currently getting. For you, because it's so bespoke in nature, I guess, am I correct in thinking there's a bit more challenge there in selling the service because you're trying to get them to visualise something that maybe doesn't exist yet? Or is it just a case of going, well, they're no quite the same as you, but here's somebody else that isn't a million miles away.
Yeah.
Here's what we did for them. Here's the time that won back the owner, and here's what he's now doing with that time.
Yeah, because we can usually find parallels for other sectors or businesses that we've helped, and we'll use that. But I always have 2 calls when I'm selling. So the first call is that discovery diagnosis where we're getting into the weeds of how your business is doing. And usually what people come to me, I think I was saying to you on the first call we had, like the amount of times people will jump on the first call with me and be like, right, so what can AI do for my business? And it's like, you're still using spreadsheets, mate. Like, let's not even talk about AI yet. Let's get you off spreadsheets. Let's get you using proper systems, having automation built into them, and then the AI layer can come in and actually help. But there's no need to jump into, Claude and everything else if you're still at this level where it is just manual effort and you've not got some systems in place. So that diagnosis call, that's what takes the majority of the time, because people will think that's their problem and that they need to automate this area. But it's about really digging down and understanding how the business is operating, where they want to go, what their appetite is, and what we can actually solve. And then the next call was actually taking them through and showcasing that.
I've always wondered that actually, where AI implementation, there's a bit of a buzz about that sector just now, and I've always wondered how that upfront discovery, almost like, so I won't ask you to do a role play discovery session now in the podcast, right? But again, sticking to the same example, I'm that heating owner, and you're trying to piece together what, if anything, you can help me with on the system/AI front. Is it literally on the call saying, right, I want you to talk me through what you do from the beginning of your customer's journey right through at the end? Like, how do you find them? How do you speak to them? How do you sell to them? How do you onboard them?
Yeah.
And then just asking the business owner to share a screen, for example, and going, right, this is what we do.
Yeah. Yeah, it just starts with me essentially saying, I'm not going to sell you anything in this call. This is purely to see if I'd be a good fit to help you, or we'd be a good fit to help you, and if you would be a good fit for us to work with. And to do that, I'm going to ask you a shitload of questions. It's going to feel like an interview for 45 minutes, an hour, but I need to do that to see if we can actually help. And then if they agree to that, then we just get into, okay, what's your lead comes in, where are your leads coming from? What's your lead to sale journey? What's it like once someone's signed up and bought to them essentially offboarding as a client? How are you collecting reviews? How does the team management work? What tools have you got? And we just dig into, until I can really find what the main problems are across those areas. Then, and if they start off by saying, I don't know, or I'll ask obviously what the numbers are associated with each of those processes. If they say, I don't know, then that's usually when they'll be like, right, well, the first point we need to do is get all your numbers in one place to actually understand how your business is operating.
Right, okay, interesting. And is your pitch often then to become a retained system and AI consultant, or is it sizing up a project and going, that's the bill, that's how much it will cost you?
Yeah, so it's we do an implementation phase, which is where we'll build. Essentially, we want to position ourselves as, this is part of the rebranding that's coming, but halfway between a SaaS business, which is generic and it will solve 70% of your products or your problems, and a consultancy like a EOS, eMyth, KPMG. We want to sit right in the middle of that, where we'll understand your business, it'll be bespoke to you, but we'll also build the thing that solves the problems rather than just coaching you on what your specific problems are. So we'll do an implementation phase where we'll build the system itself, test it, onboard you, get your team live, get it working properly, and then it just moves into a flat rate to essentially system usage and support at that point.
Right, okay. Interesting. All right, mate. Well, it's very exciting, and having worked with these small to medium-sized enterprises in particular over the last 4 or 5 years now, oh my God, is there a need for it? Like,
there is huge opportunity.
Worked with organisations that are doing 10 million a year plus and running it for Google Sheets.
Yeah.
It's like, and I'm not exaggerating, I'm not being overly dramatic, like quite literally, one business springs to mind. They were doing over £10 million a year, and everything was ran and managed through Google Sheets. And that's no, again, like, I think it's easy to fall into the trap of like judging business owners for running a business like that. Judge them all you want, but you try getting a business to 10 million in revenue.
No,
they're not doing that deliberately. It's just that's what they know. And
it blows my mind. Like, see, because I sometimes think I'm obviously really system minded. So as soon as the systems go out of touch in my own business, I'm very much like, we need to get on this, we need to fix this. But then hearing that, it's like, if they've got to this level doing it that way, like, imagine the potential of that business if we can unlock, you know, that could 10x the business if we just sorted everything out internally. And it blows my mind that people have got to that level, not in a, I can't believe they've not got X, Y, and Z in, but it's, if they've been able to do that, there is so much potential for them to get to a ridiculous size with the right systems in place.
And see that first conversation you were just talking about there, would have got that prospect. That prospect is getting a warm prospect that's coming to you. They've been warmed up already through your networking or through your initial soft conversation with them.
Yeah.
Or is there a lot of your prospects completely cold, and it's a different type of discussion before you even get to, can we have a discussion in depth about your business processes?
So all my leads right now are either direct outreach coming through from someone posting me on social media,
right,
or networking events or referrals.
Right.
So they are warmer leads because they've either done outreach or a current client has bigged me up.
So keen to speak to you.
Yeah.
So it just makes it a wee bit easier just to
100%.
get into the depth of it.
Yeah. So ads should be going live, I think, end of July. We've kind of got a roadmap lined out for rebrand, content, ads, all kind of shaping up, because networking events are amazing, but eventually you spoke to everybody in the room and
it's unleveraged.
Yeah.
You know, it's like if you go on holiday for 2 weeks and it stops.
Yep.
You need something
And
that
it's
ticks
always you.
along.
Yeah. Yep.
As enjoyable as they are,
Yeah.
you know, it needs to be leveraged.
Yep.
And I'll get to your rebrand in a second, because you've mentioned that a few times, but you also mentioned earlier in the podcast joining the Uncommon.
Yep.
I guess for those that are listening that don't know what that is, maybe explain what is the Uncommon, and then just touch upon the kind of impact that that's had in your short time in business.
Yeah. So it's a business mastermind. So you essentially get coaching across whatever the bottlenecks are that you're experiencing, whether that's your sales process, marketing, delivery, systems, and I think there's about 80 people in it. There's a few different tiers, but I've went through the tiers and now working one-to-one with John, and we've effectively, what feels like we've just built this business together, because before I joined, I was doing, my record month was 2.2k, and 5 or 6 months after joining it was 36k. So it's just been, in terms of just having those people in my corner, I spoke about going to networking events and finding the people that I wanted to speak to. That's been the same feeling as going to these networking events, but like tenfold. It feels like everybody's doing the same thing, everybody's got each other's back. So yeah, it's been massive.
Aye. I can see the appeal. You know, I'm blessed with 2 business partners and mates now, but I recognise that not everybody has that.
Yeah.
And I think if I was flying solo, I'd be all over stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, it's
you need help. Everybody needs a wee bit of help, right?
100%, yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And it goes way beyond the business side of things. Like, there's a lot of stuff on actually making sure you're building the life that you want, and that the business is the vehicle to get there, so that you're not just you've come out of a job, but you're doing more work and you're less free and you're location constrained. Like, it's very much on building something that gets you to where you want to be, and more of your personal vision and journey than just how do we make this business, 7, 8, 9 figures.
That took me years, I think, to start to warm up to that. I, like most people, I guess, because I wasn't part of something like the Uncommon in the beginning, was just like, it needs to be bigger, better, faster, more team members, more revenue, no matter what.
Yeah.
And then you get to a certain point where you're like, well, that's happening, but I'm actually not miserable, but
less fulfilled.
Probably not enjoying it as much as I could be.
Yeah.
Because I'm not optimising for happiness.
Yeah.
I'm optimising for, I don't even know what. It's like, and I remember somebody saying to me, like, why do you want more team members? And I was like, I don't know, like,
Yeah.
just that's what people in podcasts tell me to do.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? But it's like, every team member that joins you, you might win a bit of time back, but I mean, there's stress and pressure that comes with that as
Yeah.
well. Another mouth to feed.
Yeah.
You know, there's a bit of drama that can come with having people in your team as well.
Yeah.
That you don't really get when it's just you, your business partners, laptops, and the brekkie bar,
Yeah.
and optimising for profit, for
Yeah.
example. But I like that. I like the thought that there's a mastermind out there that's really leaning into, I guess, educating people that
Yeah.
it's not just about bigger, better, faster, you know, more revenue at every turn.
Yeah.
If that's what makes you happier, then great.
Yeah.
But there's other more fulfilling
Yeah.
aspects, I think, to running.
And you've properly
having a
backed
business.
yourself and given you the framework to allow you to do that, right? Because you've just told us just now you've built a team behind you, so you've got developers,
Yep.
you've got delivery person in there as well,
Yep.
and it's allowing you to do what you're clearly
Yeah.
passionate about doing. It's
Yep.
speaking to people
Yep.
and developing and increasing sales
Yep.
and stuff like that. So what before you go into rebranding,
Yeah.
that Brian can guide you through just now, is how will you then kind of progress and allow somebody else to kind of step into your shoes a wee bit and
Yeah.
do what you're doing just now? What's your plan for that?
Yeah, so I still want to coach and get the delivery team fully up and running. Like,
Yeah.
it's been since March we've really implemented. I had contractor developers that were doing some work for me, and then in the start of March I made both of them full time, and then April the client success manager came in. So it's still quite fresh, and there's stuff we need to sort out and systems we need to get properly ironed out. But it is night and day to what it was before, where I was landing a sale, having
Yeah.
an onboarding
Yeah.
meeting with the devs and just going, so you guys can build this. Now we're much more processed. The CSM is much more hands-on with the client, so they're getting a better experience.
Right.
I thought it would feel like a weird transition doing the sale and obviously gaining the trust
Yeah.
and then handing over to someone else.
Yeah.
But actually I feel like it's been the opposite, because they know I've been part of that sales journey. We are then having an internal kickoff meeting, an external kickoff meeting, and the client has felt very heard and understood and in safe hands with that transition. So that's been really key to
Excellent.
see. And then it'll just be scaling up a sales team so that I'm just flying the flag soon. Yeah. So appointment setter, and then a closer, and then I've got someone doing, John, my business coach, he's actually doing the marketing,
Right.
which is going to be nuts because he's a wizard at it. And then content side, and then it'll just be, flying the flag for the brand, still going to events, still speaking to people and leading the team.
Good for you.
Becoming the master marketeer,
Yeah.
as James Sinclair likes to bang that drum. But that's good, mate. And I can certainly empathise with some of what you've just said around that. I used to be quite, oh God, what would it be like if I'm just selling to them and then I punt them across the room and right, good luck with the team.
Yep.
But actually, I find that the ICP that you want to be working with, they will recognise that most successful businesses have a sales function, and there's then a handover that goes, because that'll be happening in their business.
Yeah.
Or if it's not, it should be, and that's maybe some of what
Yeah.
you're helping them with
Yeah.
anyway. Rather than like, well, you've sold to me, so why are you passing me on to this guy?
Yeah.
Who's he? Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with him.
Yeah.
Even with team members, so as we experience that can be challenging, because
Yeah.
sometimes we've worked and nurtured them for 18 months and then they've joined us and it's like, oh, I want to deal with you.
Yeah.
And they'll phone us.
Yeah.
And it's like, we've got an account manager.
Yeah.
Speak to the account manager.
Yeah.
But like, you don't want to lose that personal touch with them as well, because you
Yeah.
actually give a shit.
Yeah.
All part of the fun of having
Yeah.
a team and getting a team in place and
Yeah.
getting them really effective, I guess.
I think the good thing is the clients that have been in build when it was me dealing directly with them and now you and the client success manager, like, they see a difference because I'm not the bottleneck, which is the whole point in this, is that I can't
Do
be
everything.
managing 20 plus clients and doing sales and going to networking events and trying to lead the team. Like, it's eventually I've run out of time.
Aye.
So they're experiencing a better client journey, and it means I'm got more time to focus on landing new clients and helping more people, which is ideal.
Good, mate. Well, we've touched on the rebrand. What are you thinking there? Like, do you think that, is it a naming convention thing and the association with that? Like, just share your thoughts.
Yeah, I won't reveal the name yet because we've got a content plan for it, but I think ads going out from having to communicate to a colder audience. It's the brand currently, Tailored Digital Systems, it comes across very techie. It sounds techie. It sounds like I say we're an AI automation business. We only really put AI into about 20% of our clients. The rest of them are too early in their journey to actually get the best use out of it. But it's a buzzword, and I thought I'd jump in the back of it because we do it. We use it heavily internally for the stuff that we build. But I think for the people that we're helping, if you're in chaos, digital systems it doesn't sound like it's going to be the thing that gets you out of it. So we're rebranding to be more of a business transformation company, where it's not just about this sexy tool that's going to alleviate half a work person so that they can be redeployed to do something else. It's really diagnosing what your business needs, and that whole clarity and correction piece to get the business that you actually wanted to have when you first started it and believed you could make, not something that is just 40,000 WhatsApp messages unread and phone on do not disturb every time you need to go to sleep. So yeah, it's much more positioned on the impact we are going to have and who we're going to help, as opposed to what we do internally and what we essentially build.
Good, mate. Well, that's very exciting.
Yeah.
And I'm sure John's brought you along on this journey anyway, and you'll have seen it with other people that are in the Uncommon, I'm sure. But turning that cold traffic tap on, I mean, it's no joke. Like, it's brilliant, right? Because it's like it creates a lot of noise, and it's like, oh god, there's leads piling in all over the place. But getting them into meaningful conversions which produce cash flow for the business and your clients can be a real challenge if you're not positioned in the right way and branded in the right way. And often people make the mistake of doing it arse for elbow, where they just turn the tap on and then after a month go, oh, this is so much more difficult than I thought it was going to be. What's the problem here? They're then into diagnosing and, oh, right, we need to fix all this shit before it'll actually work. That's absolutely what we even done as a marketing business for probably the best part of a year. It's like had that tap on and we're just doing all right. And it wasn't until we stepped back and went, right, let's really think about this here, and tweaked a few things around offer and positioning that, oh, right, okay, this is so much easier. So good to hear that you're doing that ahead of turning that cold tap on, mate.
I've been keen to get it turned on for ages, but I think we've now landed to the point where it's like, right, there's a good amount of work coming in. We're signing new exciting work. Our clients are happy with the delivery process that we've now got in place. So we're in a position where we can take our time and really get this nailed. I think get content really cooking as well, so that everyone really understands the brand and what we are positioned for. And then the cold traffic, the paid ads can come on top of that.
Do you like content? Do you like producing content?
Well, I'm getting a guy to do it, so I'll just turn up on the day and be the talent. I'm not disciplined with it at all, and I haven't been. I've not posted. I think I've got like one post on LinkedIn about my business and 3 or 4 posts on my Instagram. So there's nothing out there, which is exciting because the level we've managed to get to without any of that digital ecosystem cooking. So I'm bringing in people to help with that. And I just want to be turning up once a month, being told what I need to say and leave.
It's became absolutely clear through this conversation that you're just no shy about asking for help and allowing other people into your business. And a lot of people are so precious about their wee shell. They just don't let anybody else in. You seem to be the opposite of that, and to your complete advantage. You're a brave guy allowing that to happen. But
appreciate that. There's so many people.
Success is oozing out of you now.
There's so many people out there who are better at different aspects of it, and I think holding it all very close and not like the best conversations I've had and the best impact I've had from conversations has been when I've just been like, I'm really struggling with this and I don't know what to do about it. And that's when an amazing piece like it happened a couple of weeks ago with everything that we were doing internally, and it's totally changed the trajectory again. And the same with like the conversation with Scott about him being open and just saying, I don't know, I've not got the time to learn this, can you just do it for me? And that's totally changed the trajectory of my life. So massively value being able to ask for help and getting the right people involved. I think it's crucial.
asking for help, but also like no being shy to just invest in a shortcut.
Yeah.
Like, see if you know somebody that's 2-3 years ahead of you,
Yeah.
and you can just pay them a bit of money, it'll probably cost you less than trying to piece it together yourself for
Yeah.
2 or 3 years and make an ass of it.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to investing and things like Paid Ads, a great example.
Yeah.
You know, if you can just pay somebody for that shortcut,
Yep.
probably save yourself tens of thousands of pounds.
Yep.
And a whole bunch of, you don't have much here to lose,
Yeah.
but wasted energy and
Yeah.
time, and God, I'm fucking smashing my face off
Yeah.
the wall trying to piece this together
Yeah.
myself here.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I feel like when you spend half your time convincing people, just buy a shortcut.
Yeah.
Like,
100%. Even the tools, like with the way AI is going and Claude Code and all this stuff, people can go out and build what we build. Like we're not doing stuff that is absolutely unheard of. We're very good at it, and the developers are incredible at what they do, but we're not doing something that is so far out of reach that you couldn't go and try it yourself. But go and try it yourself if you want, and realise to actually get something meaningful out from it, and the time that your business actually needs it is going to cost you a lot more. And like you said, you're going to be a lot more stressed.
aye.
So, you know, we're not against when people say, well, there's these tools out here that I've heard, can I not just go and use that? And it's like there's thousands of paid ads, courses and YouTube videos and everything out there.
Exactly.
It doesn't mean that they can get the same results that you guys can.
And there's like a missed opportunity cost, which is hard to measure
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's like for every month that goes by that I don't do it, or I might try and do it myself for 6 months versus just paying somebody for that shortcut.
Yeah.
What is the missed opportunity cost in that 6 months?
Yeah.
How much could I have earned? I
Yeah.
don't know, because I'm trying to do it and I'm not an expert.
Yeah.
Big fan of paying for a shortcut.
100%. Yep.
But in the beginning, you know, a lot of the times you don't have the money to pay for a shortcut. So
That's it. You
I think
get-
that's where no being shy helps.
Yeah.
So you're just picking the phone up to folk and
Yeah.
chancing it and going,
Yeah.
I don't really have anything to pay you, mate, but I can help you in this way if you
Yeah.
can help me with this.
Yeah.
It goes a long, long way.
Yep.
I've just found out there's so many people in business just are willing to help.
Yeah.
You know, verbally will help you.
Yeah.
Because they've been in the same shit as what we have.
Yeah.
You know, and they'll just offer a handout.
Yeah.
And you know, that's just great. And being part of communities and networking events and stuff like that, you're just extending the brotherhood type thing. You know,
Yeah.
people will help, and you know, we're vulnerable at times. You know, we all are.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's okay.
Yeah.
Just to ask for a wee help up. You know.
Yeah, no, definitely. I feel like the people who have got the perceptions of like business owners kind of being greedy and being very closed off and having that ego
Yeah.
have never had the business themselves. Like the more and
Yeah.
more people I've connected with, and the more they've done in terms of what you define as success, like the more they're like, I was in a shambles this time, this didn't work, like
Yeah.
this, don't make this mistake, if you need any help with this, let me know. So yeah, it seems to be the better and better someone's doing, the more open they are with how they can help you. So,
Aye,
yeah.
absolutely.
And what frustrates you with prospects that you're speaking to that early stage, that they just don't get it, or you're just not getting that message across to them, and they're just real cold? What frustrates you? That I know we're all in sales, and
Yeah.
we shouldn't get frustrated at getting it. I know,
Yeah.
but what kind of gives you the come on guys, you know, listen.
The only thing I think that gets me is when someone will decide to make a hire or something like that. That's probably the opposite to what we do.
Okay.
Is if someone's like, do you know what, I'm just going to hire someone to do this. And I'm not taking away from human resource, you absolutely need it. But to give someone the best chance of being successful in a role, you need to have a system in there that they can be successful in.
Right.
If it's just like, do you know what, I'm going to just keep these 8 different spreadsheets and I'm just going to hire someone to manage them. It's like, they're going to be gone in 3 months. That's a horrendous job.
Yeah, good point.
That's probably the only thing to me that I'm like, yeah, that pisses me off.
What we've learned there, which may or may not be valuable for anybody that's listening, is see when you hire somebody and you say, right, you go and figure out the version 1.0, that's what you've been hired for, it actually rarely works out.
Yeah.
You, in our experience, need to have a version 1.0, no matter how shit it is, to go, here's the SOP as things stand right now.
Mm-hmm.
It might be utterly shit, but go and stress test it for a while, and then by all means come back to us and go, right, I've been doing that now for 4, 5, 6 weeks for you. Here's my thoughts.
Yep.
Right, let's get the team together. How do we improve that?
Yep.
You know, right, cool, we'll improve it and communicate it to every day. That's very different hiring somebody unless they're like top caliber and saying, well, you piece it together.
Yeah.
Like, you're the expert.
Yeah.
Small to medium-sized businesses often can't afford to spend what's required in a hire for somebody to truly come in almost as a bit of a consultant and go, right, I'll learn about your business over the next 5-6 weeks and I'll transform your world. So there's my tuppence for
there's so much missing context when you bring someone into that environment as well, that you as a business owner don't even realise that you do or know about. That I think it makes it so difficult for that person to be successful in the role.
Aye. All right, mate. Well, what's the grand plan? Let's say I won't do the whole what's the 1, 3, 5 year plan, but what's your ultimate end vision for your business? Or have you just not got to that point yet? You're thinking, right, this is what the end looks like, and you're just enjoying the journey.
Yeah, I definitely just enjoy the journey. It changes so much the space we're in, what we do, who we help. Like, I'm only 9 months full time in business, and it's went from just myself to a team of 4 and this number of clients. So I can't really say I know what the end goal is, because I feel like I'll say something. Like, I looked back at what I was doing when I first joined the Uncommon on the vision and everything, and I was like, I was dreaming so small compared to what the potential now is. So I don't really know where it's going to end up. I want to just continue to build the business and give the people that we're both working with and the people that are working in the business as much freedom and opportunity as I can. So there's so much movement in the AI space. My devs have got a bit nervous thinking, am I not going to need them in the future? But I've said to them, if they work 20 minutes a day and the AI tools are doing all the rest, they'll still get a full-time wage, they'll still have a job. So I want to keep developing that freedom for all the team, myself, the clients that we work with, because everybody is taking a risk in either joining the business or starting a business. And then we'll see where we go. Probably move into Europe eventually once we've went UK wide. So right now we're mostly just operating in Scotland. Got one client in the northeast of England, but expand out across the UK, help as many businesses as we can, go into Europe, and who knows, take it from there.
And you mentioned employees there, and that was really good what you said with regards to giving them freedom as well and flexibility. So what is your kind of employee acquisition strategy? Why would people want to join you?
I think we're doing some really cool shit, and I think we're so early in the journey and there's so much potential for it that if you become an early adopter at this stage, there's so much opportunity. It is a startup, it's not cozy, it's not clock in, clock out and we're done. It is stressful, and I'm pushing towards us growing to being a multi-7-figure business next year, which is going to take a lot from everyone. But I think if you're an early adopter and someone that comes in early enough, there's massive opportunity for you to essentially build a life that you want, and that's what I kind of want to do. I want to give people the freedom of almost having their own business without having to take the same level of risk.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you know what, mate? The fact that in your first years you've got a handful of people speaks volumes, because most people will put that off to the dying end. It's like, I don't want that pressure of a mouth to feed almost. I'll just continue to carry the burden of all of this work myself. So I keep at it. Listen, it's been an absolute joy to sit and speak to you.
Yeah, absolutely smart guy. Really
appreciate it.
As always, time flies, but just huge congratulations. Firstly, for taking that massive leap and risk, but looks on the face of it like it's paying off nicely for you. Keep at it. We will continue the conversation off of the podcast around how you can potentially help some of your clients and us. But thanks for coming on. Really enjoyed speaking to you.
The power of networking, right? Because we met at a networking event.
Yeah, 100%.
In this chat. And that was an alarm, by the way, it went earlier. That was the sales director of Singapore Airlines asking you when you are going to book that seat on that flight. I think that is what your aspiration might be.
That's coming.
Good man.
No, I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot for having me on.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Well, if you've made it this far, again, listening to 2 marketeers and an engineer, well done. Subscribe and follow the channel and all that jazz, and we'll be back in a few weeks' time in another episode.